Hi, I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer, coming to you live from Eugene, Oregon. We have it here on Instagram, and we're also up here on Facebook. Um, hey guys, welcome. Nice to have you aboard. Um, so anyway, just wanted to check in with you a little bit. Some amazing things have been going on, and yeah, I don't know how you guys are feeling about all this, but I am learning so much. Um, Hi, Laura. How are you? I'm trying to keep track of two different things going on here at the same time. Hi, Dylan. What's up? Um, so, what do you guys think of what's going on out there? It has felt kind of crazy. Hello, Courtney. How are you doing? But I'm feeling good today. I feel like um, the world is crazy. Hello, Wendy in Hawaii. But I also feel like there's a rare opportunity. This is freezing up. Shame on it. It shouldn't freeze up on us. There's a rare opportunity for some real change to happen, and I'm excited about that. I found a video online from, let me get his name again because I don't want to get this wrong. Um, it's Sterling. God dang it, Sterling Brown, is that his name? It's on my Facebook page. I posted it. Realize how much I have to learn. Oh my God, you and me both. Um, anyway, it's on my Facebook page. And hey, Empty Sin. And it's pretty amazing. He's an African American man from This Is Us, the show. Oh, thanks, man. And he is talking about, the racism and the stuff that's going on and everything. And um, I was watching some of the protest video over the last couple of days, and it's absolutely. And I hope you take this the right way. Just a full embrace hug. I feel positive change in the air. I feel positive change in the air too. I do. I feel like, yeah, the dude from This Is Sterling Brown, and he has this video where he's talking about the masks that Black people have to wear every day, and um, I don't have to do that. And hi, Jerry from Nigeria, and I don't know what that feels like, and so it's super powerful to me to see the world in a new way. And the other night, I had a guy on African American gentleman named Chad Brown, a friend of mine, kind of a big deal in the country. He's got things he can do. Um, but he was talking with us, and I don't know how many of you were here, but he was on here with us. And he said something really powerful that kind of changed something for me. He said, he said something about just listening to people. And I think it's really easy to be white and think that we know what to say. I had a phone call from a father here in Springfield the other day, and we're going to have his son on a show. He's married to an African American woman. And hey, Christy, Big Fork, Montana. Yeah, thanks, Oak Forge. He, this father in Springfield was talking to me, and his son's 12 and biracial, looks Black. And he got stopped by the police a while back jogging. He was out jogging, like for a workout in one of our parks, and he got stopped. And he said it really scared him. And so, me as a white guy, I'm thinking, wow, I wouldn't even know what that's like, to be frightened because of the color of my skin. Um, so maybe there's a really great opportunity for us to really do something. And I think as white people, the best thing we can do is listen and support. And the protests around Eugene have been absolutely beautiful lately, because the rioting, I have no tolerance for rioting. I don't care about the people that say it gets them someplace. I disagree. I hate rioting. I don't condone it. Hey, can I have your opinion? of the governor allowing so many people to be able to protest with no limit of numbers attending church. Andrew, I completely agree with you, and I've already gotten in trouble for that. I've got people already beating me up for that, but I don't care. You can't tell me that. I totally agree, and I think that protesters should be allowed to protest. But if we're going to allow that, we also have to allow other people to do what they need to do too. It seems like a double standard. It's kind of hypocritical of our governor to allow 10,000 people to meet, and then on other groups not. And it's not just churches. I don't care. Synagogues. It's sporting events. It's graduations. It's funerals. It's weddings. All that kind of stuff. And I think that is kind of hypocritical. And I was very upset about that because, and it's again, and what happens is people that want to be against you try to twist that in that you don't think there should be protests. And I think we should be protesting now more than ever. But if COVID isn't dangerous for those people who are protesting, then it's probably not as dangerous for me either. And you, that's my point. It has nothing to do with protesting. It has everything to do with, a double standard. So yeah, I totally agree with you. Empty Sin, Rick, do you think this racism is going to end anytime soon? I don't know, buddy. You're in Africa, aren't you? Sorry, Rick. No, don't be sorry. You're fine. The governor is allowing people to riot and protest because she is funded and paid by George. Yeah, I don't know. But it is something I think that's starting to bother people. But let's look at the good stuff for a minute, okay, you guys? I want to focus on some good things here. I have a young man in Springfield who's going to be on the show next Thursday because he is, he's African American, and I want to know what people feel like because we can't know that when we're white. We can learn that, but we're not going to experience that. And so when I'm hearing people talk, I'm starting to see the real pain in their heart and their soul and their life and stuff. And I think that is good for me and you and all of us because we need to be paying attention to this because I think it's gone on too long, all in an attempt to get violent with me. But our manager was passing by. Oh, hold on. And witness, my initial feeling towards him was being racist, was hate. So, yeah, I am trying to go down the list here. I was also really excited to see the employment numbers come in. Where what was it? Was it? God, now I'm making it. Was it 2.5 million or 1.5 million? Anyway. Things are starting to recover a little bit, it looks like. And I think that's exciting for all of us because it says, you know what, maybe this isn't going to take as long to get back to where we were as I thought it was going to. I wonder how she can control the protesters to be compliant of the orders. It's also crazy. Yeah, I don't know that you can. Oh, my little sweet. Hello, Shelley. So, God, I wish I could bring you on here. I don't think you can do that on here. So you guys, that's Shelly Allen. She's my niece. She's married to my nephew. And as you can see, she has beautiful black skin. I would love to know how you feel about this, honey, because you're my family, and I'd like to know what you're thinking and all that kind of stuff. That would be really cool. I should talk with you. I should do like a little man, if I had your email, I bet I could bring you on here. I would love to do that. Yes, we all need to listen. Love your podcast, man. Keep up the good work, my friend. You're welcome, Tim. Suddenly, nobody's afraid of COVID-19 since the protest started. Yeah. Empty Sin, you are right. I wonder how small businesses are doing. 2.5 million non-farm payrolls in May. I disagree. Protesting and positive movement is all that's powering progress forth. Well, we can all have our opinions. That's awesome. That would be great. I love you too, honey. Yeah, if you were open to doing that, I'd sure put you on sometime. I want to change. I don't want this to be a defining thing. I don't want to be a white person who doesn't understand and who doesn't have, I guess I can't have empathy because it doesn't happen to me, but that I can't sympathize. Yeah, they were mostly service industry jobs. But you know what, Laura? It's kind of like it's something. There were a lot of manufacturing jobs as well that were provided. So that was a good thing. Jason, the stock market is beautiful. Yeah, it's gone up. So, I'm just trying to find things to make me feel positive. Um, and when I watch, Sterling Brown, am I saying that right? I'm sorry. On that video, it made me feel again. Peace Health is still making funny rules around COVID-19. Fear is still present. Well, hello there, my sweet pea, Donna Jackson. You are an amazing woman. It's kind of nice to not have an agenda. Hey, Nicholas, how you doing, buddy? I love your beard. Sterling Brown, yeah, he's a stud. You are white personnel with a different mindset, Rick. You can't compare yourself. Well, okay, MD said. I'm just open to. I've never been afraid to voice my opinion, but I've never been afraid to change my mind. And I think too many people get locked into their opinions, and then they can't change them. Jason, I love the name Sterling too. Wouldn't that be cool? I want to be Sterling Dancer. Peace Health always says we can't be empathetic to a patient, but we can be compassionate and care. Yeah, I kind of agree because you can't empathize with people if you're not going through it. You can sympathize with them or you can be compassionate. I like that. It's so hard to feel that my personal relationship with friends and family are so positive right now, but the world is so sad. Weird to feel conflicting emotions. I agree. You're going to go a little longer with your beard. It becomes a little high maintenance. You can have compassion and empathy. You guys are fun. One of my children is Korean and not referred to as Korean American, so I cringe when I hear people refer to as African American. Thoughts? I will call people, thanks, Sarah. I'll call people whatever they want me to call them. If they want to, I've had friends that say, call me Black, Rick. And I have people, so it like in the disability community, I hate that word. I won't call people intellectually disabled. And that's the term people use. I hate it. Sounds worse than other things to me. So I just say people with different abilities. And then people say, well, that doesn't define it enough. And it's like, well, good God, do we need one more label to put on people? Empathy. I want to understand how you're feeling. Sympathy. Sucks to be you. Sasha, what do you explain what you mean? I don't know. I'm not following you. I like that thought too. I wish people would just see people as people. Yeah, that's a nice, I think that too, but then as I hear people that are, from the Black community talking, my son's girlfriend's Asian American. And when all this flu came out, some of our Asian American friends were being looked at funny because the flu may have started in China. And so anybody who looked like they could be Chinese, because to white people, we kind of tend to block everybody into the same place. Nothing wrong. Focus on Oregon or your community. Enjoy your friends, your family, your hobbies. Hi, Tony. How are you? Sympathy, follow pity and sorrow. I would say empathy is more your path. I'm not trying to mince words. It's just, to me, empathy means you have to have experienced that. Like, I can empathize with people who have cancer because I've had cancer. But I'm not Black, so I can't empathize with somebody who's Black. I can sympathize with them, and I can be compassionate, and I can try to learn more, And I think once I do become friends and in a relationship with people who are Black or different colored or gay or lesbian or different things than me, then I can more understand. I'm Black, yet I self-define as an American of African ancestry. I don't allow anyone to identify me. I can do that myself. Screw the tribalism. Wayne, you're awesome. I like that too. That's kind of a studly thing. I'm an American of African ancestry. It sounds really important that way. Sometimes I wonder what people gain to be a racist. Seeing a lot of videos online, it really hurts. And Eric Johnson, we are all different. We are all broken in ways. We are all beautiful in other ways. I agree. You guys, so I have two different lives going on here. Very well said. And I'm going to guess that Shelley is talking about what our friend over here said. Go lay in a float tank. I'm actually going to go do a hyperbaric chamber today because my arm is bothering me. Here's a great video on empathy. Stacia, thank you. I will go back and look at that. Wayne Thomas said it very well. Okay, so Shelley, my niece, is a American of African ancestry. God, Shelley, you sound so damn important, don't you? Empty sin, yeah. Understand matters, Rick. When you get to know someone, then you can flow. I think that is, like, for me, the key to all this. I think that once you get in relationship with people, then you start to understand but you have to have a relationship. You can't just tell people what to believe or what to feel. I mean, I have a lot of friends in the Latino community, and they're not my Latino friends; they're just my friends. But I understand them, and because I've been around them, and they probably understand me because they've been around me. People are people, but they also want their cultural identities and heritage and culture. Yeah, I get that. My family's from Eastern Oregon. When I go out on a cattle ranch and I'm riding out there, that's what my great grandpas used to do. And there's a connection there for me. So I get that. And culturally, what I think is so cool is, well, there's this, in Eugene, we have a fairly large Sikh community, a religious group, Sikh. And I did some work for them a few years ago, some MC work and stuff. And they were so kind to me. And I learned by hanging out with them as we were doing this project, I learned so much about them. And it was a great experience. If I'm honest, it was better than most experiences I've had with Christians. They paid me my full price. They gave me more than I expected. They had me over for dinner with a bunch of folks from Iran to understand the culture better. I don't understand why people are afraid of people that are different. Right now, my world's always kind of cycled into things like weird, different things. And right now I'm in a cycle of a bunch of people that I'm very intimately close to are all felons. They've recently gotten out of prison. And I didn't go set an agenda to go find people who just got out of prison as my friends, but they start popping up and I fall in love with them. And then that's what happens. And then all of a sudden I start learning more about people. And from them, I learn more about me. Jason, I put your point up there, and I'm not going to comment because that's good. You're good at stirring the shit. That'll get people talking. But I think that if more of us wanted an interesting life, which I think we all do, right? I mean, are we looking for the best story that we can ever have? I mean, do you want to live your life comfortably, or do you want to live your life to be totally interesting? So if you want it to be totally interesting, then you bring different characters into your life. You get to experience one, communication, trust, and understanding. So Empty Sin, are you from Nigeria? I kind of think you are, but let me know if you are. We have a guy up on this other page that I think is from Nigeria. Um, but so I find all kinds of different people to put in my life, because then it kind of makes a more interesting story. And I'm not doing it like going, oh, what kind of story am I going to have? But it's like, if you don't open your doors to people that are not like you, um, God, what are you going to hang around all people that are like you? I mean, talk about um, oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? Narcissism. Oh, the last thing I want to do is hang around a bunch of Rick dancers. Oh my God. Mike Chase, Jenny Stewart is, it really is. Or feeling sad about personal relationships when things are so much sadder and bigger in scope than my problems. But we all have things going on in our life, and we got to take care of them too. Yes, I'm Nigerian. Okay. So, what does racism look like in Nigeria? Empty sin. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I love that. Somebody up here, Tony Weber says, when the student is ready, um, the teacher will appear. I mean, what do you want to be? You ever think about that? Like, what do you want your life to look like? I mean, tragedy happens. We had Donna was on here earlier. She's involved in a horrible crime. Um, but you make, while it's painful, you make it part of your foundation of who you are. And it doesn't have to, all my friends who are recovered are not in recovery. They're not still addicts. They're off of it. And yet we as a culture want to call people like an alcoholic for the rest of their life. I don't agree with that. If you're not drinking alcohol, I understand you have a propensity to do that, but why do they have to live in that? You know what I mean? Why can't we let people out? Let people out of their box. When I was a news guy, I mean, because I literally lived in a television set, I mean, I was in a box. And when I left the box, oh my God, I started getting interesting friends. I started getting people in my life that were challenging me. My life got a lot harder when I wasn't getting paid by somebody else. And I know we're kind of slipping around on topics here, but I think it's important to just, I think you have to live purposefully. You can't just live and just let things come about. I mean, I have people say to me, "Oh my God, Rick, you have some of the strangest people in your life." I'm going, I know I do. You pull up your bootstraps and you move on to enjoy life. And I know, Donna, sometimes I feel bad because I feel like you're going, oh God, Rick, don't embarrass me. But that Donna Jackson right there, she's the toughest woman you'll ever know in your whole entire life. Yeah. And we met, God, back in the 90s. And we've been friends ever since. And we don't hang out, but I love her, and she knows and I know she loves me because we have history together, and we went through hard stuff together. But that's kind of how you find out who you really are. Jennifer, you're the strangest. Hello from the South. I enjoy many friends of all races. Ginger lives down in the South part of the United States, and she does enjoy people from all over the place. Empty sin. Sad but true, Rick. Some Black people are also resistant to other Black people. In Nigeria, the racism is tribalism. This tribe proving power over the other. So, hey, empty sin, let me ask you this. I know this happens. Some of my friends here tell me this who are African American. Do people treat people that are lighter Black better than they do the darker Black? I'm curious about that. Hi, Rick. Good to see you. Hi, Lynn. You too. Oh, Jenny, I'm just soaking up all the good things in my life, but supporting those who are struggling right now. I need to show positivity. I agree. Positivity is something we need a lot more of. And here's my buddy, Eric. when I was a kid, I lived in a small, mostly Latino community. I was the only white kid in school. It's difficult to be the minority, but I had so many great friends who treated me with kindness. I'm so glad the community accepted me. Yeah, and um, and I think um, that's a great word, Eric. Like accepting people, just the way they are. I mean, gay, lesbian, straight, man, woman, transgender, black, Latino, Asian, Indian, Native American, white, whatever. Um, but to say that we don't see color is probably a lie. Um, and I want to know how to get past that. I'm trying to look at my life as if I'm on my deathbed, thinking, did I live my life to my fullest and do everything I want to do in my life? Enjoy life. You only get one. Thank you, Rick. Brent, that's a great way to look at life. You know what? I have a lot of friends that are making bucket lists. And what I've discovered with my wife and myself is our bucket list kind of just happens. So rather than setting up an expectation like I want to go do this, all of a sudden we were on a cattle roundup in Harney County last summer. And we looked at each other and had tears in our eyes and said, oh my God, this is our bucket list, honey. We're making our bucket list. And so that's how I like mine to happen. It's like it's almost like I'm living it as it happens, rather than having this expectation of what my life should be. My life has not turned out to be anything like I ever thought it would. It's been so much better. So much better. I thought I'd be a news guy for the rest of my life. And now I'm Get Real with Rick Dancer and traveling Oregon and doing the things that I want to do. I have also been to South Africa. South Africa is a good example of black racists. Once you hear your voice, you don't sound South. They start to act up. Huh. It's nice to have you aboard here. We all have a name, and that should really be the only label we need. We are of one race, the human race. I would agree with that. I'm watching down here, guys. Instagram's a harder audience to get. Hello, Deborah Mayberry. So anyway, I think we got a lot of good stuff going on right now. A lot of bad, a lot of shit, but it's nice to see it's nice to see, at least where I live, that the protests are becoming more of a protest and not a riot. I think the last thing we need to do is destroy people's property, innocent people's property. And, we don't need any more people hurt. And, and I think we also have to remember that not all police are bad. And not all, any person, any kind of thing is bad. There's bad people everywhere. My best friend has been to Africa numerous times. She was shown no racism. Well, Empty Sin, who's on here talking, he is in Nigeria right now. So he's coming from a different place. So he does experience that. He does see it, but he's living there. So we got to give people their best. Austin Reed, of course, better job numbers would come out 1 week after I'm laid off from broadcasting. Maybe this will bring me a new job sooner. Austin, you know what, buddy? You're going to do fine. I know you. You will do absolutely fine. And I know that's heartbreaking because you love what you do. I hope you don't mind me talking to you like this, but I've never been fired or lost a job like that. But every time I've given something up or something's been taken away from me, it comes back bigger. Cancer tried to rob me of who I was. And what cancer actually did showed me who I am. So you're going to come out on the other side of this, and it'll be absolutely amazing. And maybe this will find that thing that you really want to do with your life. I grew up in a diverse area in Washington and was a minority also. I had so many friends, and they showed me love the right way. That's awesome. And here's my little sweetie. I ran into a few that considered me a traitor because I was dating a white man and seen as an Oreo because of how white I sound when I speak. That was always something that bothered me. Wow. So because you talk to what somebody, isn't that kind of funny that, I mean, you're black, but they think you talk white? Like, how can you talk white? You're black. Um, and then to marry outside of your race can bring on things like that too. That's just, I guess, Shelley, do we all do it? I guess maybe we do. Um, um, Maybe not all bad, but they have power and they need to stop using it in ways. I saw that too, Deborah. It was horrifying. Horrifying. I saw that video of that old man and I was like, oh my God. Oh, thanks, Austin. I think you're pretty amazing. I'm excited to see what happens for you, what the next thing is. Um, so don't not enjoy your family while you're going through this, and don't put all that pressure on yourself that, like, I gotta find this. I think sometimes what I find with my life is when I start really putting that kind of pressure on myself, that's when I get all screwed up and things stop happening the way that they could organically. Um, but I'm 60 years old, and I think that's what COVID scared me so much, is because you know I have a plan, and that got in the way of my plan. And everything's not perfect, but what I'm also finding is, you know what? When you get on the edge, it just pushes you to go more on the edge. So, Austin, it's almost like you're standing on this cliff and you're going, how close do I get without falling, but willing to free fall that something else is going to catch me? And I think that is when you're truly living. I think I honestly think that we spend so much time existing in our lives. And sometimes it takes stuff like this to get us out of our comfort zone, to get us to a place where we can actually start seeing who we really are. Because I'm not a news anchor. I'm not a reporter. I'm not a politician. I'm Rick Dancer. And I can be him. That I can be. I'm not very good at being Austin Reed, and I'm not going to be the person that everybody expects me to be or wants me to be, because then that's not being true to me. Yeah, it's so do you guys go looking for friends that look like you? I grew up in a very racist family. I've made the decision to be different. It's not easy. Made lots of mistakes, but I want to do better. Kim, that's awesome. I think that says everything. Tribalism takes place, for example, is when you spend 5 to 6 years in a school in Nigeria and graduate and try to get a job, for example. If you have LBO, which is the eastern part of Nigeria. You guys have a hard time in Nigeria too, don't you? Because I get a lot of your guys there use my picture and try to scam money out of people. And I've talked to them, so I understand it's really hard there. I don't like people doing that with my image, and I don't like people taking advantage of other people, but I understand as much as I can. Um, hey, John, I like your thought that we can't experience what others are, what others who are unique from us experience, but we can understand, especially if taught. I think this is possible because pain and discomfort can be known by analogy across boundaries, and suffering common, though the source might be different. And often, I agree 100%, John. That's a really great point. That's a really, 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 really good point. And that's where having that relationship, because pain is pain. And I hesitate to say this because I know that sometimes I am not trying to relate to how African Americans feel right now in racism. I am not treated racially. Okay. I'm a white dude. I have white privilege. I understand that. But if I go deep enough, what I can do is I do know what it feels like to be ignored, left out, treated differently. I was walking to my work today. And again, I am not trying to say this is racism or that, oh yeah, I understand how you feel. I don't. By the color of my skin, nobody treats me in a bad way. But what I do understand is because having been a semi-quasi celebrity in this area, I was walking into work today and I walked by a table and I'm back a ways, and I've learned to kind of sometimes ignore people, but sometimes to listen to them. And maybe that's why I related to what Sterling Brown was saying. Because I'm walking up and I look and I see that they're all talking about me. And then they all start to laugh. And then when I get by their table, they all get really quiet and look. And then as I get by, they laugh some more. And I experience more of the world of people being kind to me than I do that, but I do get my share of that. Or people that will walk by and say, fuck you. And I hear them and they think that I'm not a human or something. And so, but you know, so again, I am not trying to say that's the same as being African American or being Chinese or anything like that. But I'm saying if I can, and I think what, John was saying, if I can go into that place in my head and go, and see, that's what I did when I watched Sterling's video. I got tears in my eyes because I'm thinking, oh my God, yeah, I know I've experienced a teeny thing like that. So see, then if he and I sat down and we're having a beer, that's where you start the relationship. That's where you start the friendship. Is you go, okay, let's get a common space. Don't go in and say, oh yeah, I know just how you feel. No. But in your soul, you understand that pain. And so then I think you can then work off of that, take that as a foundation and go, okay, so we both have pain in our lives. And I don't need to express that to him until we get closer. Because I think that's what white people do. I think sometimes we think we know everything. And, and I hope that doesn't happen in this whole racial thing that's going on. It's like, how do you be helpful, but not try to do it for them? Because we need to knock down the doors to white America to let people in from other colors and nationalities and all that kind of stuff. But we don't have to hold their hand. I think that's arrogant. And just to me, I think that's what sometimes white people, what we do. It's like, oh, here, I'll help you. I see that in my community a lot. I'll help you. You need, and it's like, no, just open the door, support me always, love me, and then get the hell out of the way. Because we don't need you to control us. I used to watch you as a reporter and love you then. I remember when you covered Kip and the heat you took. Yeah, it's hard times. I can see how you have developed as a human. You're still Rick Dancer, but a much better version. Life molds us in such strange ways. Yeah, Thurston High School, that was a hard thing. And I got a lot of kudos out of that, but I also got a lot of national thrashing because I was starting to get really real. And I could tell you stories. That's no way. That's people who don't have nothing better to do than talk about Rick Dancer. Pretty sad, but life can be so strange. I know. See, but Donna, you can say that because you have experienced my soul. And I have experienced your soul. Because we got thrown into a story that neither one of us chose to be in, and you were the main actor. But we got thrown into that, and as a way to help each other, those are just horrible times. But man, I have such, and I hope you take this the right way, Donna. I really do. But I have such sweet memories of that. I mean, looking over at you and going, get them. And some of the stuff that I mean, we just developed like, I feel like you're like my sister, you know, probably my younger sister. I know. Have a good day. Keep up the good conversations. Brent, thanks for adding to it. You are speaking fine, Rick. You are great. Oh, well, thanks, Empty Sin. You are just naturally cool. No, 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 I'm really not. Ask my sons. They don't think I'm very cool. I love your soul too, Donna. Um, I've been really fortunate in my life. Um, I covered crime in courts and all that stuff when I was a reporter a lot. And I really connected with people like Donna. I mean, people, so those are the characters of my life. I mean, if you were going to dig around in my life and see what makes Rick Dancer, why is Rick Dancer, Rick Dancer? You know, it's Donna Ream. It's, oh God, there's so many people that you get into you get into the worst, the place in their life that is the very worst. And then it throws you into that place, and then you go. Kip's story is an example of how badly our society sucks when it comes to mental illness. Yeah, yeah, and how we ignore. And also, Stacia, if I can throw in, just I don't want to take over your conversation, but I want to add, and how much we allow bullying. You know, I mean, it breaks my heart. Is how we pick on each other. If I was a teacher and some kid was bullying him, I'd say, knock that shit off. I did. You know, I had a kid. There's a kid. I cry really easy, and I was teased about it for my whole life, and it's just part of who I am. Now I don't care. Now I don't give a shit. It's who I am. But I remember, God, so many stories. You know. But my youngest son is a very sensitive and emotional kid, like his dad. And I remember kids at school, in grade school, where like, this one kid was teasing him and calling him a crybaby. So I went to school and I talked to the principal and I said, I'd like to go talk to this little boy. It's like 8 or something, you know. And the teacher says, okay, but, you know, be good. And I said, oh, I will. So I just walked up to the kid and I got like this close to his face. And I said, whatever, let's just say his name's Brandon. Brandon, I understand that you're telling Jesse that you're calling him a crybaby. Well, my son is not a crybaby. My son is a man who's very sensitive, who cries easily because he has a big heart. And if you ever call him a crybaby again, I will come to your home and I will have this conversation with you and your parents. Do you understand me? Little kid's like really scared, like, yes. And I said, so knock it off. And he went away and went back into the classroom. And my son came home that night and he walked in the door and he looked over at me and he went, thanks, Dad. I didn't have a dad that did that for me. My dad would say, oh, buck up. It'd always be my fault. It wasn't my fault that I was a emotional kid, big heart, and so when I got to do that, my kid, that was a really good day. I got to be the dad that I wanted to be. And I'm not perfect and I do a lot of things wrong. But I've done my share of things that were right. Remember the first time I met you, I went to Briggs Middle School and I got a turnaround award. And you were there reporting on it. Yeah, Michael, I did a lot of those turnaround awards. Thank you for your compliment too. My son stood up to friends there. I love that, Jenny. Yeah. And I actually am doing some work for them. We will take it back up when they're back in school. But that's one thing I really love about them. One of the many things I love about that school is you have a group of kids, and I think a lot of them feel like they don't fit into the world and they don't care. I could have gone to school there really easily, and yet they kind of stick up for each other, and I love that. Where's your wife? What's your son's name? My wife is Kathy. We've been married 37 years, together for 40. She's at home, working from home. She works with me, but from home. And then I have a son named Jake, who's 32, and a son named Jesse, who's 30. One's a fishing guide in Alaska. You're great. I don't think you will be easily short down in whatever you are doing. Keep up doing the good work. That's funny. Donna, I love your soft heart, but you are so strong-minded, and that, my friend, is what makes Rick Dancer a real man. Thanks, Donna. Yeah, I'm learning so much about myself right now. I know this wasn't really what the conversation was going to become, but that's how conversations go. I'm asking people who I work with, and you guys should try this because it's really pretty profound. I think sometimes when you live in your own skin, you don't really see who you are or what you do or how you affect the world. And people can tell you, but you don't really see it because it's your experience. It's just who you are. So my business coach is having me go around to several of my clients. I'm going to do one at 2:00 today. And it's kind of hard because you sit down with them and you say, can you tell me what I'm really good at? And then you just shut up and you don't try to get answers out of them. You just let them talk. And it has been the most eye-opening thing ever. It's confirmed a lot of things that I knew about myself, but it seemed natural, and it is natural, but it's also to know that that's what you do. There's this power in that. Because now I'm not going to work it, but what I can do is I can work with it. And so I would love to see if any of you guess what the main thing with these people. I have 5 people, trusted friends that I've picked. And I'm asking each one of them, what is it that Rick Dancer does really well? And there's a thread that every single one of them has come up with. And when I hear it and see it, I'm going, oh my God, that's me. That truly is me. And I'll share it with you, but I wonder if anybody living a great life when you're alive would be great. Death's legacy. You know what it is? Empty sin. I could care less about leaving a legacy. My dad was he wanted his name on buildings and on a park, and he has a park in the Portland area that has his name on it, and all that stuff was super important to him. I don't care. I go by, there's an old poem, and it says, 100 years from now, no one will remember who Rick Dancer was. Won't matter how much money he made, what kind of car he drove, where he lived, what kind of house he lived. There's only one thing that matters, and that's what you leave behind in the people that come after you. So it's what I give you and what you change your life that has nothing to do with me, but I'm part of that puzzle. And so the more and the better I live my life, the more I can leave a legacy that has nothing in my name. You see what I mean? So it's not about Rick Dancer. Jacob, you're funny. It's not about Rick Dancer. It's about, like, if you live your life like so, just push and you're just giving shit away. Whatever you get, whatever it is, whatever it is, you're just giving it away. Then you don't have to take anything with you. So Donna says mine's to communicate. I am a communicator. That is true. I feel like it's always keeping it real, like a lot of your discussions. Way to turn it around. You give the voiceless a voice. Yeah, advocacy. All those are part of that. But here's the part that I think is kind of interesting, and I feel funny about telling you this, but I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, it's part of the stick. Um, so I emotionally connect to people like that. It's almost uncanny. There's something in me that when I'm sitting with you, I can feel, I know, it's not like I know what you're thinking, but I know exactly where to go in and help bring you out. It's like, here's an example. I'm doing a live shot the other day, and the lady had a mask on, and she was, probably a little older than me. And she's talking about this food program that she's involved with. And she was just, her eyes were just lit up. And she was so excited. It's like just what she did. She was just so excited about it. And all of a sudden, we were live, and I'm talking about her program she's in. And all of a sudden, I looked at her and I went, "Can I just say something to you?" And she looks at me kind of funny. I said, "Oh my God, they say that the eyes are a window to your soul. And right now, I can see right into your heart." And she kind of goes, I said, "No, in your eyes, they're like, they're so beautiful and they're twinkling." And I said, "You know how you can't see people's face? You can't." I said, "I can see everything about you." I said, "You absolutely love this, don't you?" I mean, this is, and she goes, started to get tears in her eyes. And she goes, "Oh my God, this is so important, Rick. I mean, this is just like, what I'm doing is so important." And I had a friend with me who was shooting it for me because my arm was broken. And he said, he looks at me and he goes, "Rick, that's what you do. That it's just," he goes, it's almost like I feel like I'm intruding because I'm standing here in this spiritual moment and you're doing what you do." And he says, and to be standing there watching it, it's like this weird, this, he said, "It's so raw." And he says, and you just like slip into people. And all my really good friends, they know I always have permission from them, but I always ask. I'll say, "Can I ask you something really hard?" And then I just slip in. But I've never had it go against me, ever. When I was a reporter, and my photographers would go with me on shoots, and they used to say to me, we'd leave a shoot, and they'd go, "Oh my God, Rick, people tell you things they should never tell you." Go, I know, but I'd never use it against anybody because that's not how I am. I don't do that. So they trusted me and they knew, but they also, I mean, what I think it is partially too? It feels so good to be loved. And for somebody to look at you and recognize you and see you for who you are and go into that little special place in your soul that nobody gets to grab onto it. I just go in and I tickle it a little bit. And then I get out. And I get to do that. That's my life. That's what I bring to the world. That is the essence of Rick Dancer. And as a reporter, it naturally came out and I naturally used it. But now that I understand it, there's this like a respect that I have for that piece of me and who I am. And I usually have a pretty good sense of, I've never had people like, come away, or people have, I used to do stories on people and they say, "How do you know that about me?" I go, "I don't know." And I think it's just, I'm so glad when God was handing out gifts and things for people to do. I guess he does that for all of us, doesn't he? And I think that the thing that I have the ability now to do is that I'm aware of it. Let you know when you are ready to see Rick. Yeah, thank you, Donna. And Donna's a great example. To see, you also have to have people who are willing to go with you on that journey. I love you then. I love you now. You're an awesome man with a beautiful soul. Thanks, Donna. So here's my challenge to you, honestly. Who are you? Like, why do you do what you do? What makes you come alive? What makes you dance? What makes you sing? Um, what gets you excited about life? Um, you know, and then have the courage to ask people you trust. What is it that you do? What is it that I do really, really well? And then just shut up and write what they're talking about. Um, it is profound. And see, and I think maybe that's the answer for me. For how does Rick Dancer stop being a racist? By using my gift um, in a new way, in an additional way. And with each one of us, maybe the biggest problem we have as a culture is that we really don't know who we are. So how do you operate in your gifting? How do you go out and let other people have a say? How do you let them be in charge of the conversation when you're still trying to figure out who the hell you are? Hi, Nancy. I appreciate this dancer thread more than any to date. I can totally relate to your cowboy on the edge perspective, self-employed on my own. These are the backwards of the entrepreneur. Yeah, I sympathize with those free at this mindset. My approach to events has been to hunker down, opposite of yours, Rick, but never fear-based. A conscious choice based on the distrust of the information system and the flu. That's awesome. I asked the same question to my 5 dear friends. I was told compassion and willing to serve others unconditionally. See, and Gina, don't you think then once you understand that about yourself, that you soar, So I got to go ask my 5th person, who's one of my clients who I really trust. And I'm going to go ask. And it was kind of interesting because I had another business coach say to me, and I thought this was an interesting thing. I love my business coach. She doesn't ask questions like this. But the business coach said to me, so she goes, so are you also then in turn asking them, what don't you do so well? And I had to smile. And she does some business coaching of her own. And I said to her in a kind fashion, I said, my business coach doesn't do that to me. There's value in understanding what you need to improve on. But in this day and age, right now, right here, I don't think we need to be pointing out any more of our bad things. I think we need to be looking for good. And that's what my business coach understands about me. Right now, Rick, you just need to understand the good you're doing. We don't need to talk about what you need to do to improve. And I so appreciate that about her. John, modernism tends to abstract towards unity and say we are just people and should be colorblind, while postmodernism wants to say, no, celebrate your differences. It seems the first is right, and when it comes to negative discrimination, we need to see unity, while the second is right. You're a very smart man. Hard balance for sure. All right. And Eric, you kind of said it for me because I got to go to a meeting. But adios, you guys. Share this on your page if you found any value in it. Otherwise, just keep it between you and me. I don't care. I do this because I need this connection. I need an emotional connection, and you guys are providing that for me. And then this afternoon, I'm going to go to the hyperbaric chamber, New Leaf hyperbaric chamber, because my arm. It hurt really bad last night, and I'm going to go lay in that chamber and just relax, and I'll probably be thinking about all of you. No negative right now. Just be you, and it will be wonderful. Donna, I'll be thinking always about you. Something done in love, big and small, does make a difference in the world. It does. Finding the good is so important. Shelly, honey, I love you. Would you give Nate and all the kids a big kiss? And thank you for coming in. And if you ever in the near future would want to go on and talk about being an American of African ancestry here in Arizona, I'd love to talk with you. Well, thanks, Lacey. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm in the chamber today as well. Are you, Wendy? Well, we won't be in the same one. I think people will talk. right. Need a dose of optimism. Ruth, I'm glad you did. That place is the best. It is, Jacob. It really is. All right, you guys, have a good day, and I will talk with you soon.